Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that either.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Hello?
Hey, James, are you there?
I'm here.
You're here. Good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome back.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, pretty good. Pretty
Great.
good, actually. Yeah. Now, that last session we had was very meaningful. Yeah. Actually, I told two close friends about it, and they were both amazed.
Really?
I mean, not the whole thing, but I summarized what I thought was a high point. Yeah.
Was it just in the session, or was there more kind of follow-up that you found meaningful or powerful?
I didn't find anything more, but what happened, I think, was that it really released a lot of energy. And that distinction, ugly, pretty, it's kind of faded. It's kind of a distinction that lost its power, if you understand what I mean.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to know that part that was pushing that button and understand more about it and why and what it was trying to tell you.
Yeah, it's so uncanny how our defense systems work,
Yeah, it's really amazing.
How they figure out the way.
Yeah. And it's also, I hate to use this, it's almost obvious that, of course, they're trying to help. Of course, they have good intentions. It would be, why would we have them if they just serve to hurt us?
Exactly. No, it's it is kind of obvious when you think about it that way, Yeah. Yeah. When they would,
Okay, well, hopefully we can find some more meaning and healing in this conversation.
Well, let's see. Yeah.
Great. How about a minute of meditation before we start?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. I'll set a timer. Okay. So, do you have any parts that you'd like to get to know better today?
I do and I don't.
Okay.
Gosh, it's really hard just to talk about it. Okay, so and I'm not sure if I will be able to go there because it could make me feel really embarrassed.
Okay. Last time we talked, there was some of that same concern.
It was some of the same concern.
And one of the ways that we kind of talked about it or worked with it is we said, we did a little experiment where, we said, none of it needs to be shared with me. And so could we navigate it in that way of talking about it without talking about it kind of thing? So I just want to, put that out there.
Yes. And I really appreciate that. Okay, so in this case, I'm not. It's kind of mumbled, so it's confusing. So let's okay. So I think So what? There is a lot in me that really is fearful of intimacy and also of my own sexuality, right?
Okay.
And it's my story. So, it's. And I'm not sure what I'm not sure. It's foggy what the protectors are saying. They're saying a lot of things, I think. I think I'm being bombarded from, it's not only one thing. It's not that I'm angry it's a lot of stuff, I think, coming from all kinds of angles. And I'm also not. It's also not clear to me. Also, it's also confusing to me what really the exile want.
Yeah.
So both of them are confusing to me. But I'm pretty sure there is a lot there that if I was able to kind of just reveal it to myself, could be very good. It might be painful, but it could also, in the end, I think the pain is well worth it if I could kind of get closer to it.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's definitely something we would want to, learn more about the pain and, what if that's a protective part that's saying, no, this is painful and therefore there will be backlash and therefore, et cetera. We want to be really cautious with that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a protective part that says that this will be painful and it will be shame and you will feel shame.
Right.
That's one protective part that's saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really important to listen to. So should we start with that part of just listening to that?
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah, that would make me feel better about the safety of it.
Let's do that.
Okay.
There's another part in me that says to that part, saying, what can be more shameful than what I already kind of have some knowledge of, some understanding of. And I think that part is saying back to me, yes, you may have some understanding, but you haven't really felt it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, let's turn to that pain, the part that's concerned about it being painful. If that's all right with you.
Yeah.
And just start there. Notice where you notice that in your body. And how you're feeling towards it.
Feeling towards the pain or feeling towards what could be revealed by the pain?
Feeling towards, well, whatever feels right for you as an answer to that question. But I was thinking about the part that is warning you about the pain, or the part that thinks that this will be painful and shameful.
Okay, so I feel that, okay, so that part, how to put it? Okay. I put it in, I feel very aligned with that part. It feels true to me.
Right. Okay.
It feels, yeah. I can already feel it. Even if I don't have any pictures or words that go with it, I can already feel it.
So, to me, that sounds kind of like blendedness. This part has what it has to say. You're nodding along, and you're feeling in alignment with it.
It's blendedness. Yeah, I can't separate from that part. Yeah.
Right. Which is, yeah. So this part, it's powerful. It's saying it needs to be in control because of how painful or shameful this could be.
Yeah. And then and it's almost like it's not a part. It's almost like it is a part, but it's the part that I can't separate from. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It feels like me when a part is in control. It just feels like me. Right.
Exactly.
I am that part. Right.
Exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay. Well, I just want you / that part to know that I won't push past it.
No, I trust you.
And I'll help us look out for that.
I trust that you won't do that.
Yeah. And that I take it seriously if there's this concern about this pain and shame, that's really serious. And so we're not going to go anywhere that this part forbids us to go. Yeah. And how about you? Do you feel like you can send it that same message?
Yes, but that's what comes to me. Yes, but I feel that if I let that part be in control, full control, if I let that part be in full control, then there is no opening. Then there is a wall that I can't go through.
2 other parts, you mean?
Well, if that part is in control, then I won't get any further. Then it's like saying, okay, there is so much pain and shame there. Let's just leave it,
Right. Yeah. So my outlook is that if that part is in control, then at least I'm going to get to know that part.
Okay.
do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Okay. Let's try. We can get
like
to know
there
that
may not,
part.
maybe your self doesn't show up.
Yeah.
That we might say, well, that's worst case scenario, right? Well, if I'm not getting anywhere because myself isn't showing up, but even that's okay because we're both here, and this part is what it is. It's what we have here, and I'm very curious about it, and I think that we can learn about it, and even if we don't have that opening, even if we don't get past it, then we'll have all this information. In our last conversation, which you said is very meaningful, that's where we went. We were with a protector. Yeah. And you identified all kinds of exiles, but we didn't go to those exiles because the protector was so important to get to know and get to build your relationship with. So that's my message to this part. And I would suggest that you see if you can send that same message to it from your own place of self. That you're welcoming it, and that getting to know it is worthwhile.
Yeah, I do welcome that it wants to protect me. And I see that. So I do. So, yes, I do welcome it to the table and come. It's big though. It's big.
Yeah. Yeah. You could ask it. You could simply ask it for a little space so that you can see it better. Just kind of ask it to, you could ask it to unblend. You could let it know that you'd like to get to know it.
Yeah, I got kind of a picture in my mind of a long rectangular table, and and that part is taking up the whole long side, sitting on the short side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. What does it think about that idea of giving you some space in order for you to see it better, in order for you to understand it better?
Actually, I think it welcomes that.
Yeah.
I think it has been very lonely.
Yeah.
Just sitting there and kind of being this protective wall. Having nobody to communicate with. No, I think it welcomes this.
Great. You feeling curious about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Me too. So let it know that. And it can tell you whatever it wants to tell you.
It's telling me that it is actually protecting me from a lot of other protectors that are kind of saying mean things.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. It's kind of Yeah, that makes sense. Protecting me from kind of hearing a lot of hurtful voices, and also from feeling, I don't know, but it's what is it saying? Panicked and helpless. And these other protectors, they are of all kinds of ages. I have no idea how old the youngest one is, but they kind of versions of them have popped up, almost like throughout my life. I don't know how old the oldest one is, but it's the youngest ones are pretty young. And then there are more of them, right? It's kind of, it's a whole horde of them.
And when this horde of protectors gets activated, then that can cause those feelings of panic and helplessness.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and this is the part that prevents that.
Yeah.
Well.
None of this is all new. So it's not like it's just coming up right now, because I haven't thought about levels of it's. I haven't gone into it at all. So this is definitely not rehearsed. This is all just coming out right now.
Isn't it great? Isn't it great? Starting with this idea of, I won't be able to get through.
Yeah.
To, this is all new.
It's all new. Exactly. Right. It is. It's great.
So it sounds like this protector is working very hard.
It's working very hard.
And that it's very concerned about you in your system.
Yeah.
And also it said it was lonely.
Just there. And it's just taking a lot of, all it's doing is kind of hearing all these yucky voices, right? And keeping up, this big, building this fortress. And it's kind of, everything is so one-sided for it. It doesn't, well, maybe, yeah. Well, its reward is, I think it feels that it has a purpose. It gets the reward is to protect me. But I think it has some doubts whether it's doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Because all it can do is to build a thicker fortress or build a higher wall. It's
right. It has that tool.
Yeah, it's not very sophisticated. It doesn't,
Right. And what's it like for that part to be in that role where it knows this is important, it has limited resources, it doesn't feel like it has anyone to support it?
That part feels stuck too.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of acting on automated pilot, right? It's reactive. All it's doing is reacting.
Yeah.
And it has no peace because it's like these ping pong balls are going back and forth the whole time, and it's just doing its thing and building and building. And
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
No, it just seemed, I don't know if this is me sitting at the top of the table or if it's it, but one of us is saying, is there another way? It almost seems like it's coming from it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
So it's worked really hard for a really long time. And it would like to find another way. Can you show it some appreciation for how hard it's worked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been hard to hear all those voices.
Yeah.
Oh, I can kind of faintly hear them. I see them shadow boxing.
Mm-hmm.
But having those in my ear the whole time would have been devastating.
Right. And if we were able to find another way, if you were able to help this part, support it, what would it rather be doing with its energy?
You would just want to go to a quiet, beautiful place where it could sleep as long as it wanted and just wake up and say, what do I want to do today? Do I want to go out and row? Do I want to read a book? Do I want to,
And how old does this part think that you are?
That's a good question. The age that came to mind, I don't know if it makes sense at all, but it was 30. But I don't know if that was just a lot happened after, but maybe that was kind of a climatic point. I don't know.
You could ask it. You could ask it if there was something going on at 30. These parts shadow boxing.
Yes, there was something
feelings of
going
helplessness
on.
or panic.
There was something going on around 31. Yeah.
Yeah. And it had to step up.
It had to step up.
Yeah. You can update it on your real age. Just let it know that some things have changed. That you have.
I'm twice that age.
Yeah, you have a lot of other resources, and you're in a different situation.
Yeah.
And that you may have that capacity now to help it. Help it not have to work so hard.
It was one of the last truly, truly awful episodes with my mom. That's all I can say right now. Truly hellish. was one more later. I think, okay, a couple of more, but that was truly, truly hellish.
Yeah. Does it have any reaction when you show it your real age?
It's saying, and I say, have another look at it. Maybe I have to reevaluate.
Yeah. And you could ask it, it's looking for another way. You could just ask it what it might need, how you could help it, what it would like from you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, it seems like it wants an assurance. At least it wants to feel reasonably sure that I realize that I'm not 30, that I realize that
I have an interpretation of that if you're interested.
Yeah? Yes.
Well, you could ask it, or ask yourself, are there other parts in you that are also in that time? They're also 30 or thinking that you're 30. If that's not useful, throw it out, but
I'm just chewing on it, or I'm just looking at it. It's not sticking to anything.
Okay. We can just ask more about what it means by that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
What does it mean for you to not believe that you're 30?
It means well, it probably means a lot of things, but I think it means that I believe that I can take care of myself. And that I believe that I won't just get pushed over by some volatile inner force.
Okay. That was going to be my next question. Is the thing that's keeping you from taking care of yourself? Is that a part? And if so, yes, if it's inner force, then
it's inner, yeah.
Then great.
Ever since
right
I mean, and I've been aware of this.
Yeah.
I don't even need to say it, but ever since I was pretty young, I've been much more afraid of my inner world than of the outer world.
And now you have IFS. And you can go to this part, learn all these new things about it so quickly. And that's what we want it to know. That there aren't any parts that you can't do this with. And that if you go to them with curiosity and compassion, there aren't any parts that can hurt you.
And yeah, it's actually, if I'm able to take that in, it's incredible, because I actually listened to a podcast a few days ago, and this guy was giving everybody on a kind of a, and he was kind of demonstrating something, and it was very similar to IFS, but it was not going deep. He said that if you get triggered, instead of kind of being reactive on the trigger, if you have time to just go in and figure out and feel into what are your feelings that kind of made this trigger, you won't feel, and you go to it with compassion, you won't find anything that you will be shameful about. You will just find things that,
if you go to it with compassion.
If you go to it with compassion, yeah.
Which means you're in self energy.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's the essential, that's the innovation of IFS is, this is more than just being mindful of parts. This is taking that step forward, learning how to access the compassionate self and going to them in that way. So how does this part, is it hearing all this? Is it?
It is. And I'm feeling more thankful to it, than just by, it's almost like it's sinking in its intentions, its good intentions, right? And it's almost like it's shrinking a little. Big.
Does it need to be as big if you're able to take some of that burden from it?
Yeah, it's because I don't have a clear image. It's not like a person with a head and arms and feet and whatever. It's something big and brown gray, but it's kind of shrinking. Almost like it's kind of going into sinking into itself. Almost like it's grasping for a realization.
For a realization?
Yeah, and the realization seems to be that if all these protectors that I built this wall against are so much younger than me, my real age,
Mm-hmm. Then you can help them.
Maybe they are not as harmful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can't harm me as much as it's thought
Mm-hmm.
and believed.
Yeah. I mean, the age thing is one important concept, but you self is different in a qualitative way to parts.
Yes.
So it's not just that you're older. Because sometimes that can become just protectors taking care of protectors as we age. We find new strategies to soothe, but just this space that you're in now where you're able to listen to this part, be curious about it, to appreciate it, and to just have that wonderment and joy of just learning about it. That's something that you can do for every part. What else does it need from you going forward? You might ask it about the painful, shameful stuff, how you can help specifically with that.
Well, it is saying, I think it's saying that for it to take a rest, it needs to trust that I will be able to meet anything I encounter with compassion.
Right. I agree. And it is seen how other parts can take over, right? Sometimes that compassion doesn't show up. It's concerned that you might go to these parts without that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it's also asking me not, if I can, not to take these other parts so literally. Try to figure out what their intentions are. Because some of them may just be spewing out something just because they think that's the only way to keep me safe and keep me away from something.
Right.
So give them a chance.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes to finding this compassion, that this part is saying you need to go to other parts for it to trust you. How does it feel, and how do you feel about that, about your ability to do that? Is there more to discuss about how to do that?
Yeah, I think so, because I feel like I want to, but
Right.
I'm also not sure if I'm able to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Good news.
More good news?
Yeah. The good news, I mean, you did it in this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've done it in every conversation we've had. Your true self, yourself, is compassionate. The way to access it is through unblending, is through getting some space from parts that want to take over. And yeah, it helps to kind of identify them one at a time. That's another way to make sure that we're not scattered in all directions, being pushed and pulled by them. But this is the way to do it.
I couldn't have done it when I was 30. I would just have shrank from them all and
Yeah, me neither.
closed the door.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I couldn't do it until I discovered IFS.
Mm. But it still feels like if I peek over that big part, which is not kind of slumping, I could actually peek over it. I don't know, maybe I could even jump over it. I don't know, but at least I could peek over it. It does feel like if I do that, I will be hit with projectiles that are coming.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So let me ask you, can you handle that? If you're in this space and a part wants to throw something at you.
I think I can.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, this part is right. Parts will scream. Parts will punch.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in self, if you are compassionate and curious, you can handle it. And more than handle it, you can roll with it. You can invite it, because it's how you get to know them. And you're not going to be damaged by it.
No, I have a sense of that now, that I could kind of walk through it, without being hurt. Well, not really hurt, at least. It's almost like, it feels more like, now, feels more like a big, noisy protest.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's also still very important to respect the boundaries, the warnings that these parts are giving you. So, I'm not saying you're invincible, so jump off into the deep end. And, I'm just saying that if you get to this place, that you can negotiate and love and welcome any part. There are no bad parts.
What about the parts that speak in my mother's voice?
Mm-hmm. What do you think? What about them?
How can they be good parts? Because I say pretty awful things.
Yeah, we've met other parts that say awful things.
Yeah.
We met one last time that said, "You're ugly."
Oh, yeah, and I'm ugly. I look like you're coming from a concentration camp.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
And do you remember how we ended with that part? How you felt? I mean, you do, because you told me that you were telling your friends about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, I will never forget that.
Yeah. So there are parts in you that use your mother's voice. You can meet them and figure out what they're up to and why. And if they're like every other part that I've met, they have a good intention. They probably don't like their job very much, and you can help them.
It's kind of uncanny. This is, maybe I don't even need to understand this. But if the person who originally said these things was a super narcissist that had her, she was thinking about herself, right? And then I internalize it. Then it becomes a part with no bad intentions.
Right. It always had no bad intentions. Yeah, it's an important distinction. It's not your mother lives in your head. There's a part that's adopted strategies such as using your mother's voice to influence other parts and to influence the system for your safety, usually, or to deal with those unbearable feelings that you talked about having when you don't feel loved or lovable.
It almost feels like that all these parts that kind of screaming at me, that have been screaming at me for decades, right? That they have done that for their purpose has been similar. We're getting back to a similar conclusion that as last time. But this is even harder.
Yeah.
So last time I could feel a relief, a kind of a revelation, right? And the energy was not there, but days after, I could feel kind of an energy release, and I could giggle about it.
Mm-hmm. And this feels bigger, harder.
It's bigger and harder, I think, to get to that energy release. Even if I can see now, I can see that it's a similar flip side to it. You know, it said all these bad things, so that it said it is, or it has been saying all these bad things in order for whatever lack I have felt.
Right. And building that relationship could be harder.
Yes.
Yes.
It seems like it, but you know, I'm not using hard in a negative. It's negative
it's just more
sense.
work.
It's more work. It's
It's a more strained relationship.
Yeah.
Or it's felt like a battle.
Yeah.
And that all makes sense, right? I mean, the more that they've been fighting you, and the harder it is, or the more energy it takes to repair that.
Mm-hmm. And and the wounds that I experience may be deeper,
right?
In a way,
right? Which would also make sense. That's why they're fighting so hard.
Yeah. You know, I almost feel like stopping here.
Okay.
What time is it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I have no idea what time it is. It is as much as 19:27. Okay, that's the time.
Yes, it's been about an hour.
And I feel like picking this one up again. I feel like to leave here with kind of what I have found. And then, because I have another appointment with you. I think it's 20. Is it 27? I think it's 27. I'm not sure. Something like that.
Great. I'll make a note to remind us.
Yeah.
To come back to this.
Yeah, I think we are. I think this is a slow process, but I think if I can, it's just so important. I feel it's so important.
Yeah. Is there anything more that this protector that we met today wants from you, or anything it wants in its relationship with you in those days, or at all?
Yes, I think it wants us to keep in contact.
Mm-hmm.
It wants me to check in on it because I am the one who has to take the initiative.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it wants us to just spend some time, if we could, just, sitting at a table and drinking a cup of tea and just getting to know each other better.
Mm-hmm. Great. Do you feel like you'll do that?
Yes, I will do that.
Awesome.
Whew.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like that was even it was a small, significant step.
Yes. Yes. An essential step also.
Essential step. Yeah. Essential step. So essential is a better word than significant. It was essential.
Yeah. Glad to hear it.
Okay. Thank you again.
Thank you again. Looking forward to our next conversation.
Yeah. It's almost like it's uncanny how, how I can be so trusting to somebody who have no idea what you look like, and I don't want to know. I don't want to know what you look like. I don't know where you live. I don't want to know what to do for a living.
Yeah, well, I didn't make this up, right? So, I think my role is to show these parts that they can trust you. So I only have to be sort of trustworthy to do that, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be that clever to point that out. That thing that is we said it obvious, but it's in everyone, and so it's the same pointing out fundamentally with everyone.
But I'll tell you, you have to be pretty clever to be able to give me that space and just being there the way you are. Because I think it's much easier to jump in and interrupt and give your opinion and blah, blah, blah. And just being present and being there. Because I'm pretty sensitive to when I talk to a person on the phone and I can hear that they're not there anymore. I can hear that, right?
Right.
But for you doing this and being that present and giving me the space and I feeling that I have given that space, that's pretty clever.
Yeah, I don't think it's clever. I think it's self-energy.
Yeah. Well,
And some days I have more and less, and just like everyone.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, the only cleverness I think is again the script that I'm following that I did not write. So between those two things, we can all do it.
Well, I'm very grateful I found you, or that I was referred to you.
Yes, I'm very grateful about all of this. So thank you.
Thank you, James.
Have a great night.
You too.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows, that might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube, and they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.